Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online series 12 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. In the previous episode, I tried out a really fun team featuring Alchemy with Yveltal and Dialga as the restricted core, so be playing a couple more matches with it today. Details for the team are in the description below, including a link to the previous episode, and if you haven't seen that, I'd really recommend it, as it featured how Alchemy can provide a lot of value as a support Pokemon in this format. So we'll just be playing a couple more games with it today, and thank you so much as always for watching. If you do enjoy, please show support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I am really curious for all the Sword and Shield VGC formats that we've played through in all the different series, which one has been your favorite to watch personally? So let me know in the comment section below, and let's get started. All right, getting into things here, and that is a Seismitoad and a Meowstic. Huh, okay. With Yveltal and Zacian. So Max Dialga is really good. You guys made some pretty good points yesterday, because I didn't really take advantage of Alchemy's ability just because I honestly had forgotten about it, and it ended up being relevant in the third game of yesterday's episode, but that does give me a little bit more insurance against the Amoonguss, which is nice. So I think in this one, I'm just going to go with the standard Volk Dialga, try to set up Trick Room, and use Decorate to let Dialga sweep, because they don't have great switch-ins in a Dialga. Like, the combination of Steel Spike and Quake crushes it in this game. Like, you could make an argument for Alecki and Landorus, but I don't really like enough that much to justify bringing it here. I think regular size, seeing Seismitoad without a Kyogre here is interesting. So I think Meowstic gets Rain Dance, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but otherwise, like, you know, you would expect Manual Rain to somewhere be on the team, somewhere because of the Seismitoad. They're gonna go with Yveltal and Meowstic. Okay. I mean, I think I want to just go for a Rage Powder and a Trick Room turn one. Oh, I could double protect here actually if I expect Yveltal to Dynamax, which actually feels like a decently likely possibility. Their team only has two real max options in Yveltal and Seismitoad. Now, my opponent might not Dynamax here because they don't feel the need to, but if I can get them to commit a turn to Dynamax early on, that's really good, right? Because, like, as I mentioned with this team in the previous episode, kind of the goal is to stall out your opponent's Dynamax and then get your own Dynamax going. And if you just double protect and stall out one turn immediately, gives you a nice edge in that Dynamax war. So, yeah, hoping, you know, they try to go like fake out Max Airstream or something. Meowstic gets access to a lot of, you know, sweet attacks here, so that's potentially scary. Dual screens, Thunder Wave. Can fake out as well, fake tears. But Yveltal does start off the game with the Dynamax, so I'm happy about that. Because the play I wanted to make was like Rage Powder Trick Room, but then like fake out from Meowstic throws me off a little bit there. And I've got the Koba Berry here on Volk, right? So it's actually just helping hand, okay. I'm okay with that. My main question is the item on Yveltal, and if you're Life Orb rather than AV, whether or not like a +2 max Steel Spike can one-shot you. I feel like it should. Okay, they just Airstream to Volk, that's fine. Beautiful, so we've accomplished what I've hoped to do in the first turn, which is stall out my opponent's Dynamax a little bit. Still very good damage through Protect. This next turn, we're just going to go for Rage Powder into Trick Room, and in turn 3, bring out the Alchemy, and then start getting boosted up. Now, if you look at my opponent's team, Meowstic, Yveltal, and Zacian, okay, that's Life Orb as well, cool. None of those take Max Steel Spike well. Now, Incin and Seismitoad can take it somewhat well, but a +2 Max Steel Spike still does like over 50% to both. So, we're just going to Rage Powder here, and set up a Trick Room. It makes more sense for my opponent to max Darkness here to get the special defense drop onto the Dialga. We'll see if they opt for that. I'm mainly curious about the rest of Meowstic's attacks too, right? Like, I mentioned dual screens as a possibility. We already saw that helping hand. So, once we get Trick Room up, can bring in Alchemy and actually switch Meowstic out, okay. Into Amoonguss. Now this is where Alchemy is really nice for us, right? Because like I've got the safety goggles on it. So they should KO the Volk here. Yep, there's Max Darkness. But now it's just time to bring out Alchemy. I guess I could just double protect this next turn, but I also want to make use of my Trick Room turns while I have it up right now. This should also mean that my opponent just does not have any switch-ins into Steel Spike. Unless they didn't bring Zacian, but that would kind of surprise me. You know, I could bring out like Yveltal, Dynamax Yveltal, and then switch Dialga out into Alchemy. That's another angle we can go with, but I think I'd rather just bring out Alchemy immediately, get the Sweet Veil up, and prevent Dialga from falling asleep. And then this is where the safety goggles is really nice, right? Because we actually essentially just hard shut down Amoonguss at the moment. So I'm just going to decorate Dynamax. I'm mainly curious if Max Quake here gets the KO, because the special defense boost would be really appreciated. It's +2 Max Quake, so I would think so, but let's see. I could be wrong. Even if we don't get the KO, I would think they would only have like 5%-ish or so, enough where a Dazzling Gleam can finish it off next turn into a Steel Spike onto Yveltal. So what's interesting about the last episode I had with this team was that like I actually never really got the main strategy, which was like sacrifice Volcarona, get Trick Room up, and then just decorate sweep, sweep, sweep. In this game, we're in a position to do that. And I think Amoonguss here is going to get caught off guard by Alchemy safety goggles. Yep, as they spore into it. Another play I could have gone for was actually Decorate and then Steel Spike into the Yveltal slot. I think in retrospect that may have been a little bit smarter. I don't really care about Yveltal getting another attack off, but I just wanted to clear Amoonguss out of the way so that it can't redirect attacks away. And it does get the one-hit KO with Max Quake. Beautiful. I just want to make sure like Yveltal can't really threaten me with a knockout right now. And so we're looking really sweet because I still have 2 turns of Dynamax to work with. So like I'll essentially pick up a one-hit knockout both of these next turns, ideally. There's Darkness into Dialga, and yeah, that's a lot of damage there. That is a lot still. But that's fine, their Dynamax ends now, which is the most important part of it all. I guess what's interesting is if you bring out the Zacian right now, you have 2 things that pressure my Dialga with damage. But the thing is, you also no longer have Dynamax on your Yveltal. You could also bring out Meowstic, and if you have like Thunder Wave or Swagger, go for like status conditions onto the Dialga. And that can be scary. I think Sweet Veil is only for sleep, right? I actually have to double check that. It's just such a rare ability that I'm not super used to playing with it in VGC. And Alchemy is such a rare Pokemon, you know, you just barely see it in general. But yeah, this game has played out exactly how I've wanted it to so far. The only thing that could have been better here is with, yeah, I could have gone for Steel Spike onto the Yveltal slot. That actually may have just won me the game. I may have gone for that instead, because then it's like Amoonguss just doesn't do anything for my opponent. Okay, Meowstic comes out. No surprise there. Just double checking. Yeah, it is just sleep specifically. Like I don't think a Dark Pulse is actually KOing me here, so like I'm down to just Dazzling Gleam and then Quake into the Meowstic slot and get another special defense boost right now. Because I could see Yveltal protecting, I think Meowstic is more unlikely to carry Protect in this position. And if Yveltal protects as we KO Meowstic, and Meowstic doesn't get like a status condition on the Dialga, I think then it's just game over. Because then you have to bring out Zacian the next turn, I can just Steel Spike into Yveltal. Although actually it's not like a guaranteed game over yet, because like my opponent could still get double protects off with Yveltal, for example. Oh, they actually switched Meowstic out into Zacian. I mean, I'll gladly take that. Okay. I'm surprised to see that. That is really interesting. And they protect. Beautiful. That should be game over. Trying to understand the decision there, rather than just bringing Zacian out first and then just double protecting and then like switching Zacian out into the Meowstic. Normally a play like this, like you're trying to bait an attack out. So I guess they may have just hoped for me to like target Yveltal, ignore the Meowstic. That could be part of it, right? Where my opponent's like, okay, normally you're not going to target the Meowstic here because it's a Pokemon that doesn't really apply very much offensive pressure. But I wanted to get rid of it because I didn't think the Yveltal could KO me even with like a Helping Hand, Life Orb, Dark Pulse if I had a special defense boost on the Dialga. Plus Dazzling Gleam actually does meaningful damage. And in this position I was also fairly sure the Yveltal would protect. So you combine all of those and it's like that play that I made this turn just allowed me to win the game, right? I think now it's nearly impossible for my opponent to come back, especially because the Alchemy actually has that special defense boost. That's really valuable in like boosting up my Yveltal for the late game, for example. So now I'm down to just go for Dazzling Gleam. and Max Steel Spike into Yveltal. You have to go for a double protect here, I think, or a status condition on Dialga, but yeah, they actually just end up forfeiting. So I'm mainly curious about the rest of the moves on Meowstic here, just because it is a Pokemon that very much like things like Whimsicott or Sableye or Grimmsnarl. A lot of those Prankster Mons, it gets access to a wide variety of support attacks, so I don't know what other support attacks it was running there. But it's funny, it took us like 4 games to actually go for like the very ideal strategy with this team, which is solid a turn of your opponent's Dynamax, Rage Powder, Trick Room, bring out Alchemy, and then sweep with Dialga. And if they had brought Zacian out after I KO'd Amoonguss, things would have been interesting, because in that position, then you can pressure my Dialga with like a Dark Pulse as well as a Sacred Sword. And then if I call a Protect incorrectly, right, like let's say you protect with one Pokemon, attack with the other, and I attack until a Pokemon that's protecting, and then that other Pokemon, even if it doesn't necessarily KO Dialga, brings me to a range where another move can KO, then things can still be really scary, because my Alchemy has very little damage pressure, especially against Zacian in the end game, and it's not like regular Yveltal's that good against late game Zacian either, so it's definitely still a game we could have lost, but as soon as they brought the Meowstic first over Zacian, we were in a much better spot in my opinion. So, like I said, I think they were probably hoping for me to attack into the Yveltal, get Zacian out safely while stalling out a turn of Dynamax, but I targeted the, Meowstic slot for a variety of reasons. One, just because I thought it was relatively unlikely I would carry Protect, and then 2, it also covers for the Zacian switch out, which I thought was relatively unlikely, but we'll take it. So, yeah, let's keep it going. Next game here, and we're up against Yveltal Kyogre with Ludi, Incin, Raichu, and Porygon 2. Very cool. Almost feels like playing like a 2016 or 2019 team here. So, Dialga is interesting here. I actually don't do that much damage to Ludi because I don't have a Dragon type attack. Aleki is obviously pretty good into their restricteds, but they have a Raichu, so I can't really bring it with ease. Bulk's like a little subpar here. I wouldn't say Lando's amazing either. I actually think AV Yveltal is awesome for us here. I think I'd actually prefer to Dynamax Yveltal than Dialga here. What are possible leads from their end? Raichu Yveltal, Raichu Kyogre, Ludi Kyogre. I should say threatening offensive leads, because they can really lead a combination of anything. But Raichu Yveltal, especially with the policy on Yveltal or Kyogre, could be scary. So I think I will just go Volk, Dialga, Alchemy plus Yveltal. Like, Lando T provides such little value for me in this game. They don't have a Zacian. They don't have anything that we really hit for super effective damage. Ludi just outspeeds me. And then, like, Aleki would be good if they didn't have Raichu. And if they didn't have Raichu, I'd actually consider bringing Aleki and even Dynamaxing it. But they have a Raichu. So, yeah, I'm just going to go with the main core once again. Now, this is a little bit scary because, obviously, Volcarona is really weak into Kyogre, really weak into Ludi, really weak into Yveltal. But that's generally fine if it means trading it to get Trick Room up. However, my opponent does have that Porygon too. I also have to worry about Eerie Impulse, Trick Room, Porygon too. I'm gonna go with Yveltal and Raichu. Okay. That's fine with me. I think that's just gonna be the same play as the previous game, right? Double Protect into Rage Powder, Trick Room turn 2. Let's just go for that. Double Protect, Rage Powder, Trick Room. Ideally, Yveltal maxes here. They're smart enough not to max though, so well done. Still fine with it though. I actually just go for Electroweb, interesting. And into Oblivion Wing, I would think, or Snarl? Oh, Snarl actually is a very good play from them here. So, I'm actually going to just hard switch out into Alchemy immediately because I don't think my opponent's going to knock out Volcarona for me here. I think they're just going to Snarl again. I think they're Assault Vested. So I can take a slightly different approach here, which is get Alchemy out safely immediately, rather than just like relying on my opponent to sack it. Okay, they Volt Switch, that's fine. Volt Switch into Snarl is what I expect, right? But then it's like I can Decorate and start maxing with Dialga. And Decorate outpaces their Snarl damage, or Snarl special attack reduction. Ooh, they bring out Porygon too, though. Okay, things are gonna get really interesting. Because, like, this duel's really, really bulky right now. And this is one slight downside to the team that we're using, right? We over-index so much on special damage Porygon 2 is the part of the equation here that's really tough to account for because they actually outspeeds us under Trick Room. And if this is like an Eerie Impulse variant, that gets really ugly really quickly. So like I can decorate, bring myself to +2, or sorry, +1. I said I wanted to max Yveltal, but I think right now in this position I have to max Dialga essentially. If it is Eerie Impulse Porygon 2, I think this is just a really, really tough matchup to win, and I just accept that. So, okay. I am going to decorate and Steel Spike here. Yveltal switches, okay. Into Raichu. It's fine. The one advantage right now is that this duo they have on the field is really passive, so you're not dealing much damage at least, but my big question is the Porygon 2 moveset. If you have Eerie Impulse, I'm never going to be in a position to actually like get the decorates off and then like be able to sweep through my opponent. And that's one move that really can stop the effectiveness of this team. Because we rely so heavily on special damage rather than physical damage. Okay, so there's decorate. I think Porygon's trying to reverse Trick Room here. That's okay, honestly. Okay. Bring down Raichu to 1 HP. Focus Sash, yep. Like this next turn I can just Dazzling Gleam and Steel Spike. I'm mainly curious how well Porygon 2 can take my Steel Spike. I could Helping Hand as well, actually. You would think Raichu Fake Outs here, right? Could Volt Switch. I am down to Helping Hand here, I think. I just really want to get a special defense boost is the thing. Okay, so actually for that reason, like I'm down to Decorate and Max Quake here. Because I don't know if I necessarily need to take this KO right now. Yeah, so they go for Fake Out, that's fine. Because I can angle for a double knockout this next turn, and a special defense boost to help out against both the Kyogre and the Yveltal here I think is really essential. Ooh, Helping Hand Max Quick there actually would have knocked it out. Maybe he goes for a Recover. Could be Eerie Impulse like I mentioned. Alright, they actually just Ice Beam. Okay, I'm fine with that. No Freeze. Another interesting thing here to consider is to... I mean, I want to get another Trick Room up in this game, ideally, I think. So, like, I'm thinking of actually switching Alchemy out into Volcarona. Switch it out into Volk. I do want to Quake here, but I want to be a little bit careful about them switching out, so Steel Spike at least guarantees me the knockout. I mean, I could just Dazzling Gleam and Steel Spike here as well, and like angle for a double knockout. But if Alchemy can get a Decorate on my own Yveltal under Trick Room, that's amazing, right? And like, Raichu's not really doing that much for my opponent right now anyway. Okay. It does allow Porygon to be faster, but they're not clicking Recover. Even if they recovered, Steel Spike would KO anyway. Okay. So Porygon, using Porygon to reverse Trick Room is smart. I mean, I was so worried about Eerie Impulse. I didn't really talk about them being able to reverse Trick Room, and I actually could have maybe just knocked out Porygon the turn Yveltal switched out. And just gone for, like, Decorate into Steel Spike on Porygon. In fact, like, given that they were trying to reverse Trick Room there, if we one-shot Porygon there, I think we're in such a commanding position. Whereas now I'm not in as good of a spot, I would argue. But it's still fine because I have the special defense boost on Dialga. So then the question is like a Water Spout from Kyogre knock out Dialga? If so, then I really should have gone for another Max Quake the last turn. But what I want to go for here is just Rage Powder into another Trick Room. And then we'll have AV Yveltal under Trick Room against my opponent with Alchemy waiting to get a Decorate off as well. But if it's like Specs Kyogre here, that's obviously going to cause some issues. Okay, there's Webs. I really feel like I should take a Water type attack here, or I should say a Water Spout specifically, so I hope to not get disappointed. And if not, then yeah, I didn't maybe need to predict so hard with the Steel Spike last turn, but okay, Dialga gets Trick Room up. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so that's great. We've actually gotten 2 Trick Room ups this game, which isn't normally all that common. I'm gonna bring out Yveltal now. Now with Dialga, I ideally want to go out by using Steel Beam onto Yveltal. So I think in this turn, I can just protect Dialga and Snarl with Yveltal. Yeah. Like, this is still a tough one because my opponents conserve their Dynamax all this time, right? And they're actually going to Dynamax Kyogre. Okay, that's pretty scary because it means they're actually probably targeting the Yveltal slot. And a Max Geyser in Rain is really going to hurt, even against Yveltal with AV and Kyogre being at -1. I guess I could have just attacked with Dialga. I don't know, just went for Earth Power onto Kyogre immediately here. I just really wanted to save the Steel Beam for Yveltal. Okay, they have Feint, but they target Yveltal, which makes sense, because Yveltal is really the main threat to them right now. Okay. There's also a good chance there Yveltal has Sucker Punch, I think. That's the other part of the problem for me right now. Yeah, that's still so much damage. I can take one more after an Oblivion Wing probably, but that's it. Surely their Yveltal has Sucker Punch, right? Because if not, like, my play is to double up onto Yveltal with Oblivion Wing and Steel Beam. I think, yeah, I didn't know my calcs with the Steel Beam into Porygon super well, and in this game, like, I could have doubled up into it. Oh, they actually just protect. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could have read into that as well, right? But even if I did and I went Oblivion Wing into Kyogre, Oblivion Wing into Kyogre and Earth Power into Kyogre is like the play, but I don't mind going for the double up there. Yeah, my opponent did a very nice job conserving their Dynamax in the game, and like the Focus Sash on Raichu and then the Porygon to reverse Trick Room was really nicely done as well. So that turn obviously was not great, but I would have had to make a pretty aggressive read on doubling up onto Kyogre there, and I'm not sure I love that. And so, like, the main problem in this game was that my Dynamax Mon was not able to do very much into my opponent's restricted Mons, right? Like, they protected Yveltal and Kyogre really nicely and, like, gave up Raichu and Porygon to protect them. So, yeah, I think, like, I could have just gone for the knockout on a Porygon when they reversed Trick Room, and that would have put Dialga in an amazing position, because then I can just Steel Spike and Quake respectively. So, that double up, I guess, was probably unnecessary. I mean, like, Oblivion Wing into Kyogre and Earth Power there would be really nice. Then I would survive with Yveltal. The next turn, then I could Steel Beam Yveltal, Oblivion Wing Kyogre again, and then maybe we're actually in a position where we can win with Yveltal plus Alchemy in that end game. So I kind of committed too quickly onto a double play there, but I'm still okay with it. I mean, if Yveltal doesn't protect there and just attacks, then Oblivion Wing heals us up, Steel Beam gets the KO, they get the Geyser on Yveltal, but we survive, we bring in Alchemy, and then we can decorate into Oblivion Wing. So the question is whether or not I heal back enough to survive a third Max Geyser there. But yeah, the main problem for this one is that my opponent was able to reverse my Trick Room, right? So the Dialga wasn't able to move first. And then they also had a Yveltal with Snarl. Snarl and Protect is interesting, by the way, because obviously they're not Assault Vested. And normally when I see Snarl, I do assume AV. So I am curious on the item on the Yveltal there, because it wasn't Life Orb either. And if they had Black Glasses, I would think maybe they'd have Sucker Punch as well. But it could be, I don't know, Snarl, Foul Play, Oblivion Wing, Protect as the moveset there. So yeah, we take our first out with the team there, and I think my opponent showed a good way of stopping it, which was reduce my special attack as well as reverse Trick Room. And the main missed opportunity in this one was trying to KO their Porygon 2 with the +1 Max Steel Spike. So if I could play differently, that's like the main turn I would hone in on. So let's look for one last one. All right, last one here, we got Zacian Ogre with Coalossal. I haven't seen Coalossal in a while. Whimsicott Tsareena. So, the only real way to activate the Coalossal policy is really just Aqua Jet, to which I could redirect with Volk. Problem with Volk is if they go like Whimsicott plus Kyogre, Whimsogre and then Water Spout into Taunt is really bad for Volcarona plus Dialga. If we get Trick Room up, I think we should win this game, because Max Quake just kind of crushes it, especially with Alchemy support. So then the question is, like, do I want to lead with Aleki instead? Because, like, Urshifu Coalossal is a lead I really have to respect. I am very nervous about Whimsicott Kyogre though. Like, I lean towards Volk Dialga. I actually don't have a really safe lead against Whimsicott Kyogre in my opinion. It would maybe be a Lecky to apply offensive pressure against Kyogre. Yveltal could work there as well, especially with as a Dynamax option, but I think I am just going to go Volk plus Dialga here. And if they lead anything other than Whimsicott plus Kyogre, I'll feel pretty good. Like, if they go Urshifu Coalossal and I just turn one Rage Powder to Trick Room, it puts me in such an incredible spot in my opinion. I guess I wouldn't even necessarily need Trick Room. I could just Rage Powder and Quake, but they do find the Whims Kyogre lead. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the question here basically is, do you have Taunt on the Whimsicott? And right now, do I want to assume you have Taunt? Because if so, I could Dynamax Dialga and just attack instead. Okay, I'm going to Rage Powder to redirect a potential... Well, actually, it wouldn't redirect anything away from Whimsicott anyway. But I want Volk to faint here. And it could redirect like a Dynamax Kyogre, so... I'm going to Rage Powder Trick Room here, but if they just Taunt Water Spout me turn 1, I am done for, I think. Okay, it's going to be a Moonblast instead. I think I take a Moonblast into a Spout here. Special attack drop is really not ideal. But I guess all things considered, I'll take it, but that was a lot of sacrifice of resources just to get Trick Room up. And a special attack drop there is really not good either. It's Life Orb Kyogre, actually, okay. I think I have to kind of change my game plan here. Bring out Alchemy, but I'm actually just going to Protect and Steel Beam into Whimsicott. So then I get the free switch into Yveltal. Yeah. And the idea is to sweep with Yveltal at this point, because Dialga just took way too much damage on turn 1. Spread damage is one of the best ways you can get around this team's like main strategy. And so like leading Kyogre or Groudon and just like pressuring with Water Spout or Precipice Blaze immediately is really smart as a strategy. And like I said, Whimsicott Kyogre was the lead I was worried about. My opponent did a great job identifying that as their best lead, and I didn't have a definitive counter to this. Like I said, Alecki maybe works, but even then they can just tail in Water Spout. But then it's like Alecki Dialga at least matches up well against Whimsogre. Actually switch Kyogre, interesting. Into Tsareena, okay. I don't mind that too much. Just nervous about Whimsicott now having like Encore. But no Encore. No anything though, are they just reversing Trick Room with their own Trick Room? Or they could just be Moonblasting as well. Them reversing Trick Room here would be pretty rough. Okay, they just Moonblast. Okay, well, that's not bad. We're in a position where Yveltal can actually maybe pull off a comeback sweep right now. Okay, so let's bring it out. One thing to consider is max Airstreams with this Mon. Because if I get 2 max Airstreams off and they don't Tailwind, it is 222 speed. 3 turns of Trick Room right now. This turn, I can just Decorate into Yveltal. I could also just Dazzling Gleam and max Airstream here outright. The awkward thing is Yveltal then getting enough speed to outspeed Kyogre, potentially. Yeah, I think here I'm down for Decorate into Oblivion Wing. Okay, so we'll just get it off here. There's Oblivion Wing. We'll eat up a Moonblast, but that's fine. I didn't Dynamax here because I didn't think I needed to right now. Dynamaxing would solely be to take less damage from Whimsicott. But Moonblast into AV Yveltal, not really that much of a problem. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, no drop, which is good. Okay, now I can just Dazzling Gleam, KO Whims, and then max Yveltal to deal with whatever's coming in. My fear is, well, I guess if you bring out Zacian, ooh, okay. I can just decorate into Max Flare here and get a +4 Max Flare off against you. I think that's what I'm just gonna go for, because like, yeah, Zacian could protect. Just the other question is this +2 Max Flare actually enough to KO this? I think I am just gonna decorate Max and Flare. The only other thing I'm contemplating is Dazzling Gleam instead of decorating here to KO the Whims and force Kyogre to come out. But I think I'm gonna go for it. Just trying to think how else I could have approached the leads in this game. I think Alecki Dialga was my other best bet. And if Zacian doesn't protect here, I think like we're in a very nice position to win the game. Because then they bring out Kyogre. Well, it also depends on how fast their Kyogre is and then whether or not they have the foresight to set up Tailwind the next turn. Okay, so they don't protect Zacian, which is good. We should just obliterate it with the Max Flare here. This is +4 Max Flare. It is in the rain, but yeah, that's enough. Okay, cool. Like, the only question here is basically whether or not I needed to go for another Decorate rather than just go for Dazzling Gleam instead. I'm not sure I needed to, but don't know those calcs in rain super well off the top of my head. Okay, they're actually going to target Alchemy as well, which is cool. So this is the thing, right? The team has a lot of comeback potential because a Dynamax restricted with Decorate boosts can just, like, really snowball the game. But still not over, especially with them being the Life Orb Kyogre as well. Still have 2 turns of Dynamax to work with. We're at +4 now. Like, this turn is interesting because it's like, first of all, do you Dynamax the Kyogre? Because, like, and second of all, do you Tailwind Whimsicott? I think their best play is to Max Guard and then Tailwind, maybe? I went for Decorate Airstream. Like, it's a winning play if Kyogre just Max Guards here, but Max Darkness and a Kyogre may have just been better. I thought about Max Darkness and then just Dazzling Gleam, but I want the speed boost because if I get a speed boost and they don't Tailwind, I also win. Because, like, then I just outspeed Kyogre the next turn. But what's scary here is if they ended up actually clicking Tailwind and attacking with Kyogre. Okay, they Max Guard. Perfect. Yeah, they Tailwind here, but that's fine because my Yveltal should take any attack from Kyogre, and we actually got Yveltal to +6 here. So next turn I can just Helping Hand Max Darkness. Yeah. This is a wild game. Like, the turn 1 just looks so rough, but Yveltal had enough damage output here. And the other thing is that we, like, by not knocking out Whimsicott, prevented my opponent from having, like, 2 strong attackers out on the field at the same time, right? So as long as I don't get crit by Kyogre here, we should be good. Yeah, +6 Yveltal there with the Decorates from Alchemy. So, just gonna be Helping Hand here, and we'll just go for Max Darkness. Yeah, we'll go for the physical one. I think both pick up the knockout here, but just trying to avoid a crit right now from Geyser. I'm not even sure a crit gets the KO, to be honest, while we're maxed. Let's see. Oh no, a crit definitely would have. Okay. Cool. Now this is a +6 Helping Hand boosted Max Darkness from physical Sucker Punch. So that'll be it. Scary one though, and to my opponent's credit, you know, they did a great job with the lead. They found exactly the lead that I thought would pressure me the most, and so I was fairly lucky that they either didn't have or they didn't go for the taunt on the first turn, right? Because they did on the second turn. No, they just went for a Moonblast there, right? So yeah, like since so many Whimsicots carry taunt, that would have been a pretty big problem if they had it and went for it immediately in the beginning of the game. And so I gambled a little bit with the lead matchup here, but I didn't have a safe answer into Whims Kyogre as a lead. So sometimes when you're up against those situations, you kind of have to just take the gamble. And if they do indeed have the move that shuts you down, so be it. And then in a best of 3, my adjustment would be maybe leading the Alecki, for example. Alecki plus Dialga instead of Volk. But Volk covered all the other options that they had. And I was really nervous about Urshifu Coalossal as a lead combo as well. So, yeah. That's going to be it, though. I had so much fun with this Alchemy team, so I hope you enjoyed. So thank you so much, as always, for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to check out the team down in the description below and answer the question of the day, and I'll see you all next time. All right. Peace.